I got your Dick Tracy score for you. How did I sweat it out so fast? Oh, you know me. The old Elfman creativity gets it every time. Also, I'll run it right by you. Elfman office? Oh, wow. Really? So you're going to make Dilbert. Dilbert newspaper comic strip into an animated series, and you need a theme for that too. All right, I'll see what I can splat on such short notice. They'll never notice. Welcome back to 366 Weird Movies, Pod 366 special feature, the Weird View Crew, where we review movies that you readers send in to our suggested weird movie request queue, and then we try to watch them and figure out if we should be adding them to our list of the weirdest movies ever made. And today, you readers have really thrown us a curveball. Congratulate yourselves. Today's nomination is Dick Tracy, 1990. Dick Tracy, I haven't thought of that movie in years. Yeah, I get that reaction all the time. And there's a very good reason why, too. You see, Dick Tracy was one of the first motion pictures to suffer the 1990s big studio curse. Empty-headed movies with zero substance, marketed like they were the second coming of God himself. Okay? And you're probably also going to say, but I remember Dick Tracy was a great big deal, and then it kind of fizzled out. No, that's not exactly true. It was hugely marketed like it was a big deal, and then it fizzled out. It was marketed with a carpet bomb strategy that became the 1990s big studio playbook. Dick Tracy marketing included wall-to-wall merchandise rotting on the shelves of every Disney store, a Nintendo game, a McDonald's scratcher game, a pinball game, a board game, an entire Madonna tour.
Hi, Dick. This is Dick Tracy. Can we have a big hand for Dick?
And Dustin Hoffman dressing up his sons to be miniature Dick Tracys. Dad, why do we have to wear these outfits? It's embarrassing. Just keep your hat pulled low and nobody will recognize you. Well, following the success of Batman, Disney decided that it was going to have its own superhero blockbuster by ripping off as much of Batman as they could get away with. Right down to hiring Danny Elfman, yes indeed, to produce a score that's just a few notes different from the Batman score. And let's get one misconception out of the way. Dick Tracy was a flop. In fact, you heard it here first. If you use Hollywood accounting, the movie only cost $46 million to make and grossed $162 million at the box office. When you say it like that, so far so square. But now add in Disney's marketing budget of $101 million. That's more than twice the entire production of the movie itself, okay? And that was all just product tie-ins, marketing, merchandising. And that profit margin doesn't seem so fat now, does it? But wait, that $162 million box office total, that counts both foreign and domestic release. Domestically, Disney's box office for Dick Tracy was only $100 million, which means that Disney had to wait until Dick Tracy was opening places like Moscow before it saw a penny of profit. By comparison, the well-recognized flop, Kevin Costner's Waterworld, actually made more profit. And Universal Studios got that cool water stunt show it kept running for years afterwards. Warren Beatty, who was fresh off the notorious failure that was the movie Ishtar and apparently couldn't take a hint, dropped down $3 million out of his pocket, the man's own money, to own the exclusive rights to make Dick Tracy. And we're going to be looking at why that might not have been such an advantageous idea for him. He then took on producing it, directing it, and playing the lead, and this left him too distracted to do any of these jobs well. Yet today, Dick Tracy is remembered as a critical darling and cherished classic. Even Roger Ebert, who could normally spot a gilded turd of a movie at 50 paces, gushed about how the movie looks. Oh, it's so pretty! Oh, look at the pretty colors! Dick Tracy's ride is going to end right here. Tracy's gotten a free ride for 3 decades, but tonight it's Clayton's. We're going to go into why this empty, hollow movie vanished from cinema without a trace, but also explore why it might be weird.
I'm having a thought. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I'm gonna have a thought. It's coming. It's gone.
Let's just get this over with. Instead of a recap, we're just going over rough edges because that's what this movie is made of. Rough cuts. This was that dreaded hyperactive film editing style that was in vogue in the early 90s, and it sucks. Check this bit.
Quick. Tracy, why are we going to the roof?
This is Chief Brendan.
None of that is my editing. It's like the movie is afraid of sitting still for a second lest it lose the audience's nano attention span. Turkeys! Look at that! Turkeys! Ooh, what is that? All movie long, it never completes a song, a conversation, a scene. It never catches its breath. Watching this movie is like watching it from the point of view of the Disney Teacup and Saucer ride. There's even big musical montages that flash through Great Gatsby-style scenes, some of which hint at better stories than the ones we're watching now. But you can barely glean an idea of what is going on in the story, except some spinning newspaper headlines keeping you up to speed. So this movie is more fragmented than Madonna's other cinema mistake. No, not those. 4 Rooms, reviewed at 366weirdmovies.com by my colleague Shane Wilson. Dick Tracy feels like 4 Rooms, an anthology of short stories shuffled together to make a movie around a main character. Only the difference here is that Tim Roth can, act. There's 4 subplots in Dick Tracy, all waiting to mean anything in no general order. Subplot number 1, Tess Trueheart, played by Glenn Headley. Tracy's girl. Will they follow the typical Disney plot course by hooking up at the end of the film? You bet your Mickey Mouse themed barf bags they do. At least Headley is one of the few here who can both act and doesn't have to hide the acting behind tons of makeup. Subplot number 2, The Kid. Charlie Korsmo. A poor little orphan Dickie boy. Will he have to go to the orphanage or will Dick Tracy adopt him? You should feel sorry for him and cry little Disney logo-shaped tears when he gets his happy family at the end. No offense to Korsmo's performance, he keeps his dignity while almost apologetically playing an annoying blot tumor.
All right, when do we eat?
Live alone and like it, free as the birds in the trees.
When do we eat?
High above the briars, live alone and like it, I do whatever I please.
When do
When
we
my
eat?
heart desires, free to hang around or fly at any old time.
When do we eat?
No equivocation, most of all no guarantees. That's my only motto, free of obligations, only the murmuring breeze.
When do we eat?
As an obligato, live alone and like it, why is that such a crime?
He even gives us a hint at the beginning of the movie when he's seen eating out of a trash can, warning us about the pile of garbage we're about to consume. Subplot number 3, Breathless Mahoney, played by Madonna. She sings. A lot. When she's not singing, she's slutting it up.
I'm wearing black underwear.
You know it's legal for me to take you down to the station and sweat it out of you under the
I
lights.
sweat a lot better in the dark.
So we get a love triangle between Dick and Tess and Les. What respect I had built up for Madonna by the end of the 80s disappeared between 4 Rooms and Dick Tracy. Every line out of her mouth could be replaced by, "Did somebody order a large slutty ham on rye?" Let's see here. I got the kid, the girl, the other girl, the triangle between them. What going on in this movie? Am I missing anything? Oh yeah, criminals! Yeah, remember that huge all-star cast of characters we were promised and all the Disney marketing made up like Tracy's Rogues Gallery? and you were promised all that throughout the entire marketing campaign for this movie, call yourself a Tootsie Pop because you just got suckered. So here's how the All-Star Rogues Gallery pans out. Al Pacino is Big Boy Caprice, and he sucks all the remaining oxygen out of the movie. He ends up in charge of the other criminals in town and the big gang, so we'll get back to him. Out of the remaining Rogues Gallery, each of them barely get 3 flash-cut shuffle scenes.
Get me, Mumbles.
Dustin Hoffman is Mumbles. Ha ha, the joke is they keep trying to interrogate him, but he's Mumbles, you see, so they can't understand his answers. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Hilarious. What a knee slapper. They do it again. It's even funnier the second time, isn't it? Hey, we have Dustin Hoffman, the only cast member with 6 Golden Globes and 2 Oscars. Let's give him the character that just goes... William Forsythe as Flat Top. He barely gets a couple of lines. To be fair, Flat Top was pretty sparse in the original comic strip, but in the film, Flat Top is short a dozen or so relatives, have reduced to mostly silent flunky to Big Boy. Veteran actor R.G. Armstrong as Pruneface. Luckily, he only has to humiliate himself for 2, maybe 3 lines. Don't forget Dick Van Dyke as a crooked district attorney who has 2 scenes. I'm pretty sure he forgets that he was in this movie too. So Dick Van Dyke is the crooked Dick, and Tracy is the straight Dick.
But I thought you had to pick a name.
I did.
Oh yeah, and even the kid takes on the name of Dick Tracy Jr., so that's fine. We're just going to call you Little Dick and him Big Dick.
How many dicks is that? A lot.
As for the rest of the famously advertised all-star Dick Tracy Rogues Gallery cast, they'd barely get a tiny cut of the film to themselves. These guys at the poker game win the Cube Award for being in all the trailers just to die in the first 5 minutes of the movie. Now then, we come back, reluctantly, to Big Boy. Honestly, I've seen Al Pacino play the devil himself in the underrated The Devil's Advocate in 1997. Pacino embarrassed himself less in the Devil movie.
All right! Put the word out! Lips territory is my territory now! Everyone who worked for him is working for me! Everything he owns, I own!
Acting! I am acting now! I don't know why, but you told me to act. I'll act like I'm getting an acting hernia. Here he's a grunting idiot who is not given a single decent line. What is Big Boy's big crime plan? Is it to run an extortion racket with local small businesses?
We will become the people's silent partner. Every time some citizen buys a pound of hamburger, we get a nickel.
Is it to kill off Lips and take over his nightclub so he can run it as a casino? Is it just to smack Madonna around? Not that she doesn't deserve it. Why does he even need to choreograph the floor show anyway?
They say I kidnapped you. I didn't kidnap you, but I'm kidnapping you now. Does life imitate art? So many questions, so few answers. What a way to usher in the new year.
By the end of the movie, Big Boy himself is even babbling that he doesn't know why he's doing what he's doing. Oh God, no. You've got to be kidding me. They're gonna go for the Joker and Vicky Vale ending complete with climbing a tower? Ah! This leaves us with Warren Beatty, the man who paid 3 million scoots in post-Ishtar dollars, mind you, for the exclusive right to play Dick Tracy. And it sounds like he must be serious about this role. So how does he do?
I'm on my way.
Hey, Tracy, what about the eating machine?
Huh? Oh. Can you watch him or something?
Watch him do what?
404, punchline not found. Wait, here's what actually passes for a joke in this movie.
So what do? Grab 88 keys or go straight for Big Boy?
Yeah, Tracy, what do? Grab 88 keys or go straight for Big Boy?
The enemy of my enemy, my friend? Or the enemy of my friend, my enemy?
What?
Or the enemy of my enemy, my enemy?
What did he say?
The enemy of my enemy is my enemy.
Said the enemy of his enemy is his enemy.
Please end my pain now. Mind you, Dick doesn't even get to engage in many heroic actions. He gets his dumb ass taken hostage and the kid has to rescue him. He gets into a confrontation and the blank shoots the bad guys for him. He gets knocked out by gas, then set up to look like he murdered the crooked DA, but the cops bail him right back out again. Every 2 steps he takes, he's carried by a third party. The damn kid puts in more groundwork riding in the back of every other car. Tracy and Trueheart almost get gunned down, and the kid has to yell to warn them. This should be the kid's movie anyway, since they gave the whole plot to him. Tracy tries to investigate the bad guy's hideout and then ends up treated like a cat. He has to climb down this pole, but does accidentally give us the best scene of the movie. Yes, he did his own stunts, ladies and gentlemen, so whacking his noggin on that street lamp is totally a thing that just happened. Want to see a loop? In between, Beatty apparently just decided, hell, my jawline can carry this movie all by itself. I don't need to actually act in it. Here again is a scene unedited by me.
I'm on my way. I'll be back. I want to know how it comes out. Excuse me. Ow, sorry.
Hello, boys.
Tracy. Here, Chief.
Tracy, are we glad to see you?
Tracy, whoever they are, they're all dead. 5 dead men, Tracy, and we don't even know who they are. Whoever did it took their identification, but they didn't take a dime.
Big boy caprice.
Everything all right, Tracy?
Fine. Just a little trouble downtown.
5 people just died in a massacre, and our hero spent a minute at the scene and got back in time to catch the end of the opera. It sure was thrilling seeing the famous detective at work. From the writing, partly Beatty's, to the direction, all him, to his role, Beatty plays the laziest, most phoned-in role of his career. Most insulting of all, he makes Tracy look like a pants-pissing wimp. From here on out, this hot mess boils over into the dumpster of shuffled plot points. People get kidnapped and then they're free. People go to jail, then they get bailed out. Tracy plants a bug, but the bad guys find to turn it back on him. Bullets are fired. Crimes are crimed. Police are policing. There's a character running around called The Blank, who zigzags around the edges of the story, committing random acts of violence against all parties.
If you want to stay alive, you'll do what Big Boy says.
I don't know, maybe they just need a cough drop. I won't tell you who The Blank is, but the reveal is going to amount to absolutely nothing by way of explanation. But oh my god, who has time to pay attention to the crime element? You know, the part Tracy is known for. We have to worry about little orphan Dickie and sweetheart Tess and the love triangle. Oh, my career, my relationship, my responsibilities as a father. Oh, how will I ever juggle them all? Mahoney showing up looking for Dick and finding him, and shoving her butt in his face like a cat. Tess just gets dumped on the whole movie, and then when she's serving her damsel in distress role, she just lies there waiting for the sweet embrace of death to get her out of this movie. There's yet more sucky things to point out, but I'm just tired of roasting on it already. Dick Tracy isn't any worse than many other 90s dumpster fires hyped up for their cast, like Mars Attacks or North. It is a very pretty movie to look at. It also knocks itself out trying to be as much of a musical as it can be. If you turn off all logic and just watch for the songs and visuals, perhaps under the influence of, say, Valium, this movie flies by at a relatively painless 90 minutes. I would compare Dick Tracy to Toys, the early 90s movie with Robin Williams. Toys is also a movie best watched with the mute button firmly deployed. It's gorgeous to look at, screaming Lovecraftian mental anguish to listen to and follow. The worst thing about Dick Tracy is the squandered opportunity. They spent all their time on the style while the substance is absent. It's the script, or perhaps even a lack of one. It's just one boneheaded non-scene after another. Mass media hype continuously lied about this movie in 1990, calling it Dick Tracy's first time in the big screen. No, it wasn't. Listen, there was the RKO Pictures Studios. They cranked out a whole series of Dick Tracy movies from 1945 to 1947. And they are worth your attention. Actual stories you would come to expect from a classic detective comic strip. Real characters with motives that make sense. And even before that, Republic Pictures made an equally tall stack of serials. Ralph Bird was to Dick Tracy what Sean Connery was to 007 for a while. Then there's all the radio plays, an animated series, a live-action series, all of which were far more faithful to the tone of the strip and still come up with interesting noir angles. This is the rich history of this long-running classic strip, and Disney and Warren Beatty just wiped their ass on it. That's the reason Dick Tracy dropped off the radar. It's not necessarily that it's that bad a movie to watch, but it's just empty. Even with all the colorful sets and elaborate makeup, in your memory it all turns into a big gray featureless wad of nothing. Is Dick Tracy a weird movie? No, not even remotely, I'm sorry. You might say, well, it has such a unique look. Yes, but there are 101 movies in our Weird Movies Index already that all look unique, okay? And none of them are as forgettable as this movie. It's true that no movie looks like 1990s Dick Tracy before or since, but, you know, are primary colors really that special? I mean, looking on the work of, say, Dario Argento, you know, it's been done. Joel Schumacher managed to direct the later Batman movies, making Gotham into a playground populated by neon roller disco rave bandits, but nobody ever congratulates him on the unique look he gave his movies. Come to that, Dark City, 1998, made our list, and it looks amazing, it looks unique, and it is amazing, and it's every bit the movie that Dick Tracy wishes it was. What is left for Dick Tracy to call its own? Is he the weirdest comic book to film adaptation? Not compared to Howard the Duck. Okay, so is Dick Tracy the weirdest newspaper comic strip adaptation to film? Close, but no cigar. You see, a whole decade before Dick Tracy was made, another long-running newspaper comic got the film adaptation treatment, and it's far weirder for entirely different reasons. We've never reviewed it here. Can you guess what it is? Ba-dum-bum-bum, ba-da-da-da-da-dum, ba-dum-ba-dum-bum-bum. Ba-da-bum-ba-ba-bum.
He's fought by the sailor man. He's strong to the finish, 'cause he